Hello everyone, welcome to week 6 of the Prismatic Draft League. This whole video is going to be entirely post-com because DaVinci and OBS were not agreeing on the video files that I had done previously, so I've changed the encoder. Hopefully this works. This will be my 5th time trying to do this. Okay, currently midnight. But first things first, we have two new Pokemon to the team, Chandelure and Venimoth. Now, if you remember previously, these Pokemon belong to a coach we faced in the past, MarioMan, coach of the Azure Chatots. They hit me up on Discord, asked me if I wanted to make a trade. So I traded away the Sinistcha and Skarmory for the Chandelure and Venimoth. Chandelure provides us with offensive pressure that we were lacking without it. 145 special attack. It's actually got a decent speed at 80, just like a few other Pokemon that we have. Run it fast for Choice Scarf, which we will be doing shortly. Venimoth I don't expect to use, but I wasn't expecting to use Skarmory for the rest of the season either, so that's why I went with that trade. Because they were disappointed in Venimoth, and I figured that they wanted the Skarmory, so I'd let them have it, because they were the one who offered the trade for Venimoth for Skarmory. Panda is our opponent this week, coach of the Cecil Samurats. His team, as seen on screen, is Kilowattrel, Salazzle, Low-Kick, Samurai Hisui, Toxicroak, Skeledirge, Komala, Burgraff, Relantis, Hydrapple, and Nosepass. I'd want to give my thoughts on this, but I'm actually really annoyed right now from having to continuing to do this over and over again. So, I think let's get right into the matches. Let's switch the sides. Okay, here we go. That is loud. Can I change the volume on this? No, I'm gonna lower the volume on OBS and hope that is better. Okay, so first off, let's actually go back a turn real quick. So he leads Toxicroak and Low-Kicks, I lead Chandelure and Electrode. Now, looking at this real quick, he's got two priority options on his side of the field, Fake Out and First Impression. Neither of them are good into Chandelure. Fake Out is immune, because I am Ghost type. And First Impression is a Quad Resist. Now, with that in mind, Electrode seems like a very obvious target for Panda to take out. Very threatening Pokemon on my end, can spread paralysis and just be a nuisance. Like Taunt, because we have Taunt on Electrode this week. And Chandelure is Choice Scarfed, which is actually going to be important later. There's no Skeledirge this week, which is good for us, which means we'll be able to throw off Heat Waves unimpeded, which we do. We switch in Goodra because, like I said, the Electrode is most likely what he's going to be targeting with both his Fake Out and First Impression. And I want to save it for later. We Terra Fire to get even more Heat Wave damage, and Goodra takes both of those hits very well, except with the Citrus Berry. We miss the Low Kicks with the Heat Wave, but we take 71% damage on the Toxicroak. Now, this turn, it really doesn't matter what I go for. I decide to stay in with Goodra to just get some chip damage with Ice Beam, even though realistically it wouldn't have mattered because Heat Wave would have KO'd both Pokemon regardless, but Farigiraf actually switches in here. The reason why the two priority moves on his end is very important is we hide Choice Scarf. He doesn't know yet that we are Scarf because Toxicroak's max speed is 150, whereas Chandelure is only 145. Now he ends up not being max speed, so he wouldn't have been able to figure out we were Scarf regardless. We managed to get the freeze on game 1, but as we'll see with the Heat Wave, it doesn't matter. Take the Toxicroak, we fought the Fergaraf, but we're faster than Fergaraf anyway with Goodra. So although that freeze is unlucky, it would not have mattered. In comes the Hydrapple and the Low-Kicks, his last 2 remaining Pokemon. We protect with Goodra here because we are able to live 1 more turn from the poison, and I wanted to see what Panda wanted to do here. If the Hydrapple was a defensive Terra, if he was going for first impression. But he doesn't go for first impression for a reason that I find out afterwards, after the game. Panda's Low-Kicks is banded. Meaning that if he went for first impression here, Low-Kicks wouldn't have been able to do anything if it so happened to live. But we're faster than it with Chandelure. Here you probably could have figured out it was Scarfed if Low-Kicks was max speed, but I don't know if it was. He goes for the Earth Power into Chandelure, which doesn't actually kill, which allows Goodra to pick up the final KO with a Draco Meteor. Overall, very clean game 1 for us, and Goodra doesn't die to the poison. Going on to game 2. Switch over to my point of view. I decided game 2 I wanted to use Charger Bug. Now, Charger Bug is actually a really interesting Pokemon for us because, while in theory something like a Choice Scarf or Ursaluna with Charger Bug next to it is funny, it doesn't end up doing that well because Ursaluna is very slow. Chandelure, on the other hand, with Choice Scarf, is faster than his Kilowattrel. So, having a Scarf Pokemon like Chandelure next to Charger Bug is actually way more impactful. Now, sorry. Chandelure has Energy Ball, and I could go for the Samurott kill here, which is technically the safer play. But I figure that with this game, I want to try and be a little riskier. Because, for one, I want to have both Samurott and Kilowattrel relatively weak. I don't know Kilowattrel is Focus Sash. However, I'm fairly certain it is. So I decided to go for a Heat Wave game 1, but I don't Terra because, of course, I'm going to die to a Razor Shell. He goes for a Tailwind on the Kilowattrel, which I was expecting. And I missed with Samurott. So I missed a Heat Wave target on turn 1, both games. But he goes for Aqua Cutter and kills Chandelure in 1 hit. Again, I'm not a defensive Terra, so there's no reason to go for Terra there. And Samurott is Life Orb, as we see. We also know that from the Tailwind that this isn't Wind Power Kilowattrel, so it's almost certainly Volt Absorb. And we lay down a Sticky Web for later. Instead of send out Goodra. Last game, it never got revealed, but the Pokemon in the back last game was Ursaluna. Goodra, once again, is also powered up by battery. Now, we haven't shown Thunderbolt on Goodra yet, but I can't use Thunderbolt because that is almost certainly Volt Absorb Kilowattrel. It might have been competitive, actually, because of the Tauros. Actually, hold on. I'm pretty sure Panda gave me the pace. So let's see in match discussion. Yeah, okay. Was this... Yeah, it was Volt Absorb Kilowattrel. So it was very important here that I... Whoops. That I don't use Thunderbolt because... I mean, I could have used it into Samurott. Volt Absorb isn't redirection based, right? That's Lightning Rod. So, I mean, I could have attacked Samurott here, but instead, I'd be a bit defensive. I go for Protect on Goodra, as he does Protect on Samurott. Air Cutter does almost nothing to Charger Bug, and Charger Bug kills Kilowattrel with a lunge. In comes Toxicroak, who gets lowered by its speed. Now, Toxicroak, of course, has Fake Out, as we know. And so I actually switch into Tauros here. Now, this is a bit risky, because he could go for Aqua Cutter into Goodra, but water is not super effective against dragons, so I thought it was a very safe play to make, as well as giving me an Intimidate drop into Samurott and Toxicroak. Fake Out does 10%, Sacred Sword does 48, that takes up, so we take a lot of damage, but we're able to get an Electro Web off to lower their speed. Now he switches out into Low Kicks here, potentially fearing something like a Wild Charge. And of course, it resets Samurott's attack, so it's not a bad idea to make. Low Kicks, of course, gets the speed lowered. And we're actually Terra Dragon on Tauros, because for one, Tauros gets Outrage, which we'll see in a sec, but Panda's best moves into Dragon types is Hydrapple, which is a Dragon type of its own, which is weak to Dragon moves, and of course is very slow, so that's a risky play. Or Dazzling Gleam from the Farigiraf, which doesn't hit very hard. So I just felt like Terra Dragon was a very good defensive typing here. And as we see, we use Outrage. Now we are Choice Banded Tauros with a Terra boosted 120 base power move. So this is very strong. Into a team that's kind of somewhat frail. And these are all hard-hitting Pokemon, but they're very frail in their own ways. So we take a full advantage of that with Terra Dragon. We do use Electro Web to slow down the Loki speed and Fervor. Samurott comes in and gets the speed lowered. Samurott goes for Protect, but we managed to get lucky with the Outrage rolls and hit into the Low Kicks. I was very lucky with this because Outrage chooses a random Pokemon, and kind of like how MarioMan got me with the random Outrages himself. Was it MarioMan? I think it was Mario that got me with the Outrages. We get Panda with the Outrages. Sorry, it's very late for me. And we try to go lunge into Samurott, but it doesn't do any damage because of Protect, and Outrage kills Samurott. Overall, a very clean set for us. I just really wish I could have done it for you live. I thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.